Hello, hello, hello. Peace and beautiful blessings to you, abundant soul. Thank you for tuning in to the Abundantly Ever After show. I'm your host, Shavonna Tisdale, also known as the Spiritual Love Healer. I am an intuitive tarot reader, energy healer, and coach, here to help you heal your heart, expand your vision, and tap into your abundance codes. I didn't really have anything particular to talk about for this episode, but it is just a beautiful day. I'm sitting at the park, just luxuriating in the change in the weather. You can feel the change, just the change that's happening in general. And it feels so good. It almost feels like, well, for me personally, it feels like I have jumped onto like a completely new timeline. A lot of like past issues and things that I had been working on healing and releasing, it's like they don't even exist anymore, which is amazing. I have so much to be grateful and thankful for. First, I want to say thank you to all of my YouTube subscribers. I recently reached 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which I think is amazing. YouTube really just started off as a place for me to like just house all of my video content. I still have a bunch of videos that I need to like transfer over there, and it's a lot, but I'm really grateful and see that there is just a beautiful community growing over there. Right now, my focus has been on other things, my life, personal goals, and things that I'm working on. So I have not been recording any new videos. I will get back to that probably next year. I'm not going to say that I won't do any videos at all, but I will not commit to like consistently doing videos again probably until next year. In the process of a lot of transitions right now. So once I am settled and have my studio space set back up where I feel super comfortable and I have all of my beautiful candles and crystals and my decks, everything back together in a sacred space, then I will start back recording on a regular basis. But I'm really grateful for that. I love the fact that people can find wisdom and or inspiration or just whatever their heart needs on my channel. And that's the type of content that I really want to continue producing, along with like readings and just coming up with general conversation. And one of the reasons why I'm loving, being able to do the podcast, the show in podcast form right now, is because it gives me the freedom to just pull out my phone and hit record no matter where I am. It's a bit breezy, so I hope the wind is not rubbing against the mic right now, causing interference. But if it is, it's okay. Just pretend you're sitting next to me in the park and we're having a phenomenal conversation. So what else do I have to be thankful for? Oh my gosh, my new planner came. I do want to do like a review / walkthrough of my planner. I have done this one before, I believe, on my channel. It's the Law of Attraction planner. I've been using it now for maybe 4 or so years. I'm not really sure. But I really just love this planner. It really works for me. I've tried many different planners and have gone back and forth. I've used multiple planners, and this one is the one that just gets everything. And it's interesting because it is, hold on. Let's see if I close my sunroof, if that'll help with some of the wind. Probably not. But I forgot what I was going to say, you guys. Oh, typically I like a daily planner, but this one is weekly, and it seems to work for me really well. So I'm just going to continue with that, and I'll still have my my tarot planner, and I'm working on creating a 2023 planner as well. It's going to be called the Abundant Soul Planner. This will be my 3rd year creating this planner. The first time around, it was called the Spiritual Love Planner. No, the first time around, it was called the Single Mom Spiritual Journal. It did start out as a journal, and then it evolved into a planner, and I called it the Spiritual Love Planner. now that things have shifted, I'm going to be calling it the Abundant Soul Planner or something like that, which I think is phenomenal. So there's going to be journaling spaces inside. There's going to be like a yearly planner, monthly, weekly. There's going to be journaling pages, just a really beautiful way for you to focus on your dreams, have something where you can put everything in. I am going to be using that planner in addition to this because that one gives me a little more space for each day for like writing things down and things like that. So those will be the two planners that I am using in 2023. As the planner comes to completion, I'll share more about it if it's something that you're interested in. It will be available in paperback form through Amazon, or there's also a digital version or PDF copy that you can purchase and download. So that is something I'm really excited about. I am feeling so good lately, more like myself, and I'm going to get into why and then share some helpful information around things. But I'm feeling so freaking good. Like, oh my goodness, I feel like a whole new person. My birthday is right around the corner. I'm wrapping up classes. Like everything that I have worked towards this year or over the past couple of years is coming true. And it's so amazing to see it and to be in it and to be able to see it while it's happening versus being in a state of like anxiety or fear or just panic and worry while manifesting, so that I'm not able to see the growth that's happening right now and the transformation that's happening right now, which is where a lot of us are often. And sometimes that can be because of the people in our lives. But anyways, I'm just super excited. So how do I want to talk about this? Sometimes when you need to level up in life and you need to make a change, the people around you can hold you back. They can prevent you from doing so. Or if you notice, like if you're ever around a particular person, whether it's a friend, a family member, a romantic partner, and you just feel drained or bad things just start happening. And they don't have to be like major momentous things like you get in a car accident. Maybe you lose your car keys, or maybe you, I don't know, you scuff up your favorite sneakers, like weird things that never happen, or just random, or maybe you start having car trouble out of nowhere, or you start, forgetting that you have meetings or appointments to go to. Alternatively, you can, maybe you start losing money, or you start losing business, or your diet changes and you're either overeating or not eating enough. But there's something that happens where you've gone from a place of peace and like harmony and equilibrium to where now things are kind of topsy-turvy. And you can be like, oh, well, it's just life, or just, shit happens. And a lot of times it can be the people that we are connected to. So for women, I'm a woman, so I'm going to speak on this from my vantage point, especially in regards to romantic relationships. The people that we allow in our lives, the people that we attach ourselves to and let attach to us, can have a huge impact on how you view yourself, what you think about yourself, how you show up in the world. And it impacts your energy, which in turn impacts everything, which means it can block your manifestation, which means that it can influence more negative energies in your life. And this isn't to say, that if bad things start happening around you, that, oh, it's got to be his fault or their fault. I'm just speaking on the fact that when we have people around us who have ill intentions, who are not caring for their mind, their body, their soul, who just are not decent human beings, that has a direct impact on you and the quality of your life. So a few episodes ago, I shared a podcast episode where I talked about evaluating your circle and your relationships. I'll include the link to that episode for you in the description in case you want to listen to that one as well. And this is kind of born out of that situation. So just be mindful, especially because we are in a retrograde season where Mercury and a few other friends are also in retrograde, which means that past issues or influences can arise that come up usually as opportunities for healing. But sometimes we can look at, when someone resurfaces as like a second chance, or, oh, it must be meant to be because this person has come back into my life. Sometimes we really need to stop and see, like, why is this person returning? And I'm all about giving people a second chance. However, whenever you allow someone back into your life, to me, I see that as just opening the doorway to the past. Most of the time, people don't change. There are types of people who do the work, meaning they do the personal development, the spiritual development. They're going to therapy. They're working on their demons. They're illuminating their shadows. They're doing whatever it takes for them to elevate themselves in life. And then there are the people who are just with the shit. They like the shit. They stay in the shit. They roll in the shit. When they come back to you, they still with the shits. So you have to know who and where these people are. And for me, like, a good indication of that is looking back at the time period in my life. So there was this friend I made, this was definitely over a decade ago. And like, we were tight, like, she was good people. Our children were friends, and it was just a really beautiful, beautiful thing. During that time, however, there was just a lot of drama in my life. She had stuff going on in her relationship. She was doing some things that I didn't necessarily agree with, but I wasn't necessarily judging her either, because, hey, that's your life. Do you, boo? Just make sure, that you're taking care of yourself in the process, and make sure that you're not going to put yourself in harm's way or what have you. But there was just a lot of drama. Even in my life, I was dealing with this guy who just had me like, yeah, it was a hot mess. It was a hot mess. It was a lot of drama, a lot of confusion, just a lot of things going on. And so years down the line, she reached out to me on social media. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, like, I would love to reconnect and la, 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 la. But before I responded, I stopped and I thought about it. And I'm like, if we were that close of friends, would certain things have taken place, right? If we were that close of friends, why did we lose touch? Why is this person coming out of the blue now? Like, there was just a lot of what ifs. And then I'm like, what was the value of that relationship? How did it feed me? How did it impact my life? Did it have a good impact or a bad impact? Was this person, alternatively, like, in the end, I found out that they knew some things that they probably should have shared with me as a friend that could have prevented me from going through some extra bullshit. So in my mind, I was like, you know what? I don't really want to bring that old past energy back in, because at the end of the day, there was some not so good friend activities that took place, and it's just not something that I want to deal with or experience. So I decided not to respond to her at all, and just kind of like block the interaction. So we have to be very careful. And maybe I was wrong, right? I could have been wrong, but I don't feel that I was wrong. Like, I don't feel that I have missed out on anything by taking that action. A lot of times, especially when men come back, we feel like, oh, like, I'm going to miss out. Like, maybe he's changed. Like, we want to give people the benefit of the doubt. I had to learn to stop doing that shit a long time ago, and it has served me very well. I don't put anything past anybody. And when somebody asks, like, about trust, I do believe in, like, we should trust people, right? I think that there's an inherent sense of trust that we give right? We trust that when our child goes to school or to daycare that they're not going to be harmed. We trust that when we go to work, we're going to get paid for it. You trust when you get in your car and crank it up that it's going to start and get you from point A to point B. So we do have an inherent sense of trust. We trust when we go to the doctor, they're going to give us accurate information and have our best interests at heart. So I think, in dealing with people, we do have like that innate sense of just trust. But there is also an aspect of that where I'm at the point now where trust is not just blindly given. It is something that is earned, because a lot of times, what's the word? A malicious person will take that trust and be like, oh, well, they trust me, so now I'm going to just go do whatever, and they won't suspect a thing because I already have their trust. Like, I don't have to do anything to maintain that trust. And so I feel like there's a point that comes when you do innately trust someone to allow them to even enter your life. But once they enter your life, you also need to be mindful, like, okay, is this truly a trustworthy person? Is this person being who they say they are? Are they keeping their word? Are they doing the things that they need to do in order to continue to have access to me? I love when I see those posts that say having access to me is a privilege. And I need you to really anchor into that, because it is a privilege. I don't care what anybody has to say about you, about how you do things. To be able to talk to me, to be able to sit in a room with me, to be able to be in my energy, to access me is a privilege. And if I extend that privilege to you and you abuse it, take advantage, you got to go. And I'm not allowing you back into my life, because after you showed me the truth of who you are, I'm not letting you back in my life. I don't care what you have said that you've done to change, to grow, to improve. Nah, that's not going to happen. I'm not letting you back in my life. And I do believe that because of the shifts that are taking place in the world on a collective level, a lot of people are doing work to heal. There is somewhat of a divide. And you can see this among just anything, right? Just there's a clear division where it's either left or right. It's either you're doing the work or you're not. And that's kind of where I am. Like, I'm not leaving room for gray space, because often that's when things get a little twisted and tangled and discombobulated, is when you're trying to be lenient, or you start to explain away why this is, instead of seeing like that's what that is. Like, what you see is actually what that is. I know, like, as children, right, when they would tell you not to judge people, you got to give people a chance and things like that. I think that's so detrimental, because most children are very aware. They're very intuitive. They are more tapped in than adults. And I remember myself, like, I could very easily read people. I could very easily sense things on multiple levels. So if I didn't like somebody, it was for a reason. But then, you're taught to be nice or don't be mean. You're judging that person. And sometimes those aren't judgments. It's your intuition that's saying, hey, alert, 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 red flag, stay away from them. That's not a good person. But we're taught to distrust our own selves in support of trying to, be open or trusting to someone else. And that is just absolutely not what we do. So with my girls, if they are like, I don't want to talk to that person, I don't like them, I take heed, because they are probably sensing something that I am not able to sense. I had another friend, and my daughter just did not like her. She was like, Mommy, I don't like her. And I'm like, what? Like, no, like, that's my girl. My daughter was right. She was very right not to like her, because at the end of the day, I got to really see the truth of who she was, not just me blindly trusting things. So Yeah, it was very interesting. But I think it's just very important to truly, truly, truly be mindful of who you are allowing into your energy, who you're spending your time with, where you're putting your resources, not just within intimate relationships. I mean, across the board. We don't have time and we don't have to subject ourselves to anything that's not in alignment. And one of the things I've said was this season of life, this time that we are living in, is heavy on the fuck around and find out. And that is so true. Like, it is absolutely true. We have so much knowledge at our fingertips that we're just not paying attention to, that we are not using, that we're not truly grasping or benefiting from. Like COVID, for instance. And say, hey, wash your hands, sanitize, use proper hygiene, don't be all up in, other people's faces, things like that. And some people listened and some people didn't. But it's like, if we know that there are things out there, right? Like, why not use what we know to take better precautions across the board to prevent more disastrous outcomes? But a lot of places, like where I live in the in the South, where I live, the town that I lived in, you could not tell that there was a pandemic happening. And this is like right in the height of COVID, like when it was like shit got real and you couldn't find toilet paper, sanitizer, or paper towel, whatever, all the stuff people were buying up, like you could not find that stuff. People weren't really wearing masks. I even think some clubs and stuff like that were still like open. Like, it was just not taken seriously. And I was just like, okay, this is what's happening. But I strongly believe, like, we are in a season of fuck around and find out. And I highly advise you, because I'm doing this myself, to only fuck around with things that are in alignment for you. And the outcome that you're seeing in life will let you know whether or not the things that you are dealing with are in fact for your best and highest good. Many people are, and it's so interesting because when I talk to certain people, you know, they're like, oh my gosh, my life is great. I'm doing all these things. I'm traveling. I'm like living it up. I'm living the dream. And then there's other people I talk to who are just like ready to go. Like, they are just, life is the complete opposite for them. When you are not in alignment, when you are surrounded by people and things and places and situations that are not for your best and highest good, you will feel it on so many levels. And it's funny because it starts out as those small things, right? Like, all of a sudden, maybe you're more clumsy, or you're losing your keys, or your car keeps getting dinged, or, you forget to pay a bill on time. Like, little things start happening to say, hey, things are off. But we often don't pay attention to those subtle things because we live in a chaotic as fuck world. So when we don't pay attention to the little dings, then you get the loud honks, the loud horns. So bigger things start occurring. And then when we don't take heed to that, that's when like the kick in the pants comes, the Sparta kick in the back, because we didn't pick up on the little red flags or the yellow flags or whatever color the flags are. We just didn't get the memo. We didn't get the hint. Being in tune with yourself, knowing what it is that you value, knowing what it is that you want out of life is so important, because that can be your guidepost. One of the activities, I need to add this to the community that I created. It's an activity that really asks you some questions to help you get clear on what it is that you want, because that is where the source of your power is. When you are able to tap into your heart, tune into your spirit, and get clear on who you want to be and what you desire to experience, Not what everybody else says, not what your mama said that you should have did, not what society is saying that you're only capable of doing because of your race or gender or education level. Like none of that. Like you get to decide, but a lot of times we don't know what it is that we want. So we're just out here haphazardly fucking around and finding out. And we don't have to do that. Like I knew what I wanted to do for myself and I started working on that. It's been, I won't say it's like a super easy journey, but I will say now things are definitely getting easier because again, I'm at the end of that where I'm seeing the the work that I've put in, the prayers, the journaling, the studying, the time and the energy and the resources. It's all coming together, but that's because I have a vision and I know what I want my life to look like. That's what made it so easy for me to cut off people who weren't either helping me with that vision or who were holding me back from focusing on that vision because it wasn't helping. It was just bringing drama and problems into my life. And that was the opposite of what I needed. So when you know what you need, you know when you're not getting it. And not everyone is here to like fulfill those needs or to support those needs, but they also don't have to be in the way of those things. This was not necessarily what I was going to talk about. I don't know. This has been a fun conversation though. Yeah, there's so many other things that I want to talk about and share, but I'm just super grateful to have this space to pour my heart and my wisdom out into the world. And I hope that it is feeding you in some kind of way, bringing some inspiration and illumination into your life. I've got so many ways that we can connect. One is inside of the community. You can head over to abundantlyeverafter.show/community and join. It's free to become part of the Abundant Soul Tribe. And then if you want to work with me on a deeper level, there is a collective group where we'll do some group coaching, some energy healing. We'll do a little bit of manifesting rituals inside the Abundance Code Collective. So there's that. And for now, I am going to sign off. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to check out the community and connect with me online over on Instagram at Abundantly Ever After Show. Peace.